Hello, family. This is Tevin with Tevin Talks, and I hope everybody's doing well today. And see, normally this would be just a regular Tevin Talks and me explaining life, but I want you to hear from somebody else that I hold near and dear to my heart. Somebody that is my best friend, the love of my life. You hear me say her name every single episode. So I think that it's time for me to introduce to the world my wife. And she goes by the name of.
Maleka.
And how are you doing today, beautiful?
I'm good. I can't complain. Life's good.
I always love to hear that. So, what's new with you, wifey?
Um, I went back to school and I only have a year left to become a teacher. Super excited. I'm majoring in elementary education. I just recently had my first interview for a teaching job, which was super duper humbling. Just because I didn't think I would ever get there. I started and stopped school, I don't know how many times, but I'm doing it now and I'm almost finished and it's super exciting.
So, for you personally, you set out a dream, I'm assuming in what, middle school and high school, that you want to become a teacher. And the fact that you're chasing that dream right now, does it feel any different from when you wanted to become a teacher then?
It doesn't feel different in the fact that I always wanted to be a teacher. I have a different drive now, which is my daughter. And I have to do it now. It's not like maybe it's like I have to do it. Like she has to see me succeed. That's like my main motivation.
Can't complain about that at all. So, what grade are you looking to teach for?
Um, See, I thought I wanted to do first grade, but I feel like any grade within elementary is my goal. I might look into kindergarten, but I think first grade, yeah.
Okay, so now that we're caught up on what's current and what's new, how about we, for our family that's listening, take them back to when we first met?
You want me to tell the people?
I think you should.
All right. So, we met at Cookout. um, Before that, let me just take you back to where I went back to Cookout and the reason why I went back to Cookout. So I was working at a job and I was only making like $8.25 an hour or something like that.
Damn.
Working that job, I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, yeah, $8.25 not gonna cut it. I gotta go somewhere where I know I can make fast money before my baby gets here. So I went and unfortunately asked for my job back at Cookout. And I think maybe a week before I started back, I came up to Cookout to see a friend. She came out the door and somebody was following behind trying to be nosy. And it was Tevin. Said, hey, that was the first time I ever... Was that the first time I met you? I think that was the first time I met you. Yeah, it was the first time I met you. And that was it. On my way home, though, I think I was like starstruck or something. The whole time on the way home, I was like, yeah, I gotta get to know him. And from there, I think that's how it started. Yeah.
I remember, explaining to you that I was a wrestler, and you looked at me and kind of laughed like, you mean like on TV wrestling? I was like, yeah, I do that for real. And I think you didn't believe me until you actually seen me wrestle in person. And I think that's when we really started clicking. And that friendship from the jump was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because not only did you care for me, you cared for who I was then and the man that you helped me become. And I think for everybody that's listening, it's important to hold on to that one true friend. And you know when you have that true friend, like it's they're always on your mind. There's somebody that when you needed them, they entered your life. You didn't ask for it. It just happened. And I think that's just how God works. When you need certain people, he plants them in your life, no matter what you're going through. And when we met, it was no feelings like that. It was just that I needed a friend and you were there. So when did you start liking me?
I didn't start liking you, but no. See, I met Tevin at a really, really, I wouldn't say dark time in my life, but like when we became friends, I was pregnant. Like I said before, I met him. I ended up.
Take your time, baby.
So I had my second miscarriage, like a month after I met you. That was at a time where I really, really needed a friend. Tevin was somebody that didn't want anything from me. It was just conversation. It was at such a dark time in my life. Like, I feel like Tevin was like placed in my life for a reason, and that was to be a light. Like, I needed that so bad. Like, I didn't know why when I first met him that I was so attracted to him. Not physically, like, just like it was like a force. And yeah, he saw me through, like, just first meeting me. Tevin seen me cry more than anybody has, like, just first meeting me. I know he was like, damn, this girl cry a lot. But there was days I came to work after the miscarriage and I was just like sobbing, crying, and he took that time out to be just the light I needed. And it was just like super duper, I've never had that, so it was really comforting. It was, I don't know, I feel like it was like it was a blessing in disguise. Like, through that dark time I had a light in Tevin. And I don't know, I think what attracted me the most, and when I did start like having feelings for or liking Tevin, was he invited me to a wrestling show, and just seeing his drive. And I think seeing him be in dad mode, and I don't know, I feel like just the dream chasing part was like the part where I was like, okay, yeah, this is somebody I would like to be around for the rest of my life. Like, relationship wise, friendship wise, it didn't matter. I just needed that light in my life for the rest of my life.
I dig that. And I want everybody to know that, I told everybody whenever I started Tevin Talks, this was going to be a space to tell the truth. And I can't let her tell her story without telling my story. And the times of us meeting each other and becoming friends, for the people that do not know, I was once married. And for that time of my life, it was bad. The marriage was going nowhere. I was mentally out of it. My mother passing was still heavily on my mind. If I'm being honest, I moved into a situation not being mentally prepared. I ran to try to find love in somebody that was not for me because I was hurting. My mom passing, it took me through the ringer, and I didn't know what else to do. So I just went and thought that falling in love was the best thing for me, and it wasn't. And I fought for that for a while because that's when my second child was on the way. And I'm thinking, I should man up and do what's right and marry this woman and just fight through it. And it was the worst thing for me. It was the worst thing for us in the whole situation. And just need people to understand that children are beautiful. And children can change situations, but children cannot make you stay in a situation that is not meant for you. It's an old saying that I've heard plenty of times. You cannot make a temporary person permanent in your life. That's just how it works sometimes. And sometimes people come into your life to teach you lessons. And that was a huge lesson for me. And regardless of what I was going through and how I felt, Maleka was always there and pushing. Regardless of how she felt about me at that moment, she always would tell me, Tevin, try to fix your marriage. Try to make the best of it. You can do this. Until I couldn't anymore. And she was there every step of the way. And when you know situations are for you, you just know it. And I think God was just like with a flashlight in my face, like, hey, this is the one that was for you. Regardless of everything that I've been through leading up until when I met Maleka, I'm thankful for those times. I'm thankful that I ended up going back to Cookout, because if I never did, I would have never met her. So that path that led me to Maleka, it was a rough, bumpy road, but I would take any road to get back to meeting her at any time. Because I love you, kid.
Okay.
And I think that when you find that special love for somebody, you can't just let it go. And when you give it your all, you make sure you give it your all. One thing for me that really stood out for Maleka was when my mom passed, I did not have the best support, but I blame myself for most of that. I would not allow anybody to care for me in that way. Now, did I have the best people around me at the time? Hell no. But when she came around, she did everything in her power to make sure that I had love around me, made sure that I knew someone cared and was there no matter what. I can't tell you how many times we just sat and just talked about life over and over and over again. And it could have been about the same thing. But regardless, however I felt going into that talk, I always felt like a king and felt like I mattered by the end of that conversation. What about you?
What about me? How I felt after the conversations?
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I was put in your life to be there for you. I always wanted you to make sure. I've never been through a grieving process. I didn't know how to react to you losing somebody. I just wanted you to know, like, hey, remember this light about your mom. Don't dwell on she's not here, because she was. There were some really good times, and I always wanted you to hold on to those times. I always wanted to make every anniversary, every birthday of hers count, and make you understand that, okay, it's okay to grieve, but let's not stay in it, and we're gonna celebrate her life regardless. Every year we're gonna do something. We're gonna do a balloon release. We're gonna do a shatter plate, whatever it is to get you through that day. We're gonna do it. So yeah.
And I think for me, which stood out for me again was that care, because it was a point in time when I'm not even going to give somebody that platform and say that name, but somebody told me that I had to get over it, which was by far probably some of the worst shit that I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. Because somebody who was very close to their mom, for you to tell somebody that, it's pretty low. But you know what? We prevail and understand that everybody is not for me. And I truly think that you were the person that I was supposed to meet at that time to be in my life. But I'm not going to, I knew when I seen you, I was like, that's her. That's definitely her. Let me chill out though. But in my mind, I knew. And when I went through that divorce and everything was situated, you were still my friend. You had my back through everything. And then I shot my shot because I just felt like, hey,
Amen.
I know we cool right now, but I think we could be just a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
And here we are, years down the line with another kid. And and I want people to understand that, yes, me and Maleka do have a 1-year-old together. But anybody that does know me knows that I have 2 other children, Aubrey and Alex. And when I tell you that she took over this stepmother role by force, in a good way, in a great way, and loved on these kids like they were hers with no hesitation, I couldn't find a better example for somebody to come into their lives like the way she did. I don't think nobody else could. And I think that that's important because if you want to spend your life with somebody, that also means that you have to be that parent as well. Because I came with a lot, I'm not going to use the word baggage because they're not baggage. I came with a lot of love with me. And Maleka embraced that. And I can't thank you enough for that. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate every single thing that you do. Even if I don't say it every single day, which I should. I'm human. I'm working on it. That you are appreciated. And you are the best thing that ever happened to me. And I think that I know that for a fact, if you were not in my life, things would not be the way they are now. And I think that I would be in a much worse space. Possibly not even be here if it wasn't for you. Mm-hmm. And I think the world should know that.
Let them know. And I think we can clear the air a little bit. Let's go back to when Tevin was talking about being married before. I feel like a lot of people have their opinions and have heard stories about when we got together, how we got together, and the whole timeline. It's really none of y'all's business, but if y'all must know, we're talking about how we met. So let me give y'all a timeline and a breakdown for those who are a little bit simple. I met Tevin 4 years ago. I've only been dating Tevin for 2 years. My daughter is 1 year old. And we've been married since May of 2024. So, 2 things cannot be true at one time. So the stories y'all have heard are very comical. I hear them all. And yeah, I think the air is cleared now. If y'all can do math and add and subtract, there you go.
I mean, you're the teacher, so hey.
Hey, man. Gotta teach them something.
I feel that. I do. And I'm going to be honest with you. I want to make sure that me and you tell our story as we go and not just one setting. So I think we're going to leave it at that. But I do want the world to know that Maleka will be on frequently, talking with other women, other guests, helping people explain their story and how they became the great people that they are and the struggles that they went through. And I just want everybody to know, as I always tell you, I love you. But with me and my wife being here and Benny, we can tell you that we love you. And regardless of whatever you go through on a daily basis, we are here. And we're going to get through this as a family. And I know I normally close out, but I'm going to let Miss Turner close out.
Hey, we out, man. That's it. That's all.
And normally I would say that has been Tevin's talk, but since it's me and my other half, that was Turner talk.
Get with it or get lost, man.
And we out.
Period.